All right, go.
All right, welcome to Heart of the Wolf podcast. We're your hosts, Rachel, and
Kyle.
We're going to be talking about Running with the Demon by Terry Brooks.
Book 1 of the Word and Void series.
Yes, I knew I was forgetting something. Yes, The Word and the Void, which is basically just Terry Brooks' way of saying heaven versus hell, God versus the devil. So,
back to the more important point.
Yes.
Today, I am drinking OPP, which is a Oregon wine, red wine. It's actually a homemade wine, so I don't know what kind of wine it is.
Oh, well, and I'm, of course, drinking water, so.
Someone just gave this to me while I was working as a thank you for working during the mini apocalypse that we are having.
Yeah, the apocalypse. What are they calling it? Human malware.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, did that tickle your funny bone?
Yeah. This is a red wine. It's actually really sweet. It's really good, actually.
Yeah, well, water is better.
I'm usually not a wine person, but it was free, so you get what you can in these times.
I mean, it's nice that you just got a random person to just give you alcohol.
Yeah, it was awesome. Should we get to the non-spoiler
Yes, the
review?
The non-spoiler review. General consensus was I liked it.
I really like this trilogy, this whole trilogy.
Yeah, I only have a couple minor issues with it, but
yeah, I mean it's written really well for the most part. The story is really interesting. The magic system is really interesting, and the characters actually show growth. You know, it's everything Terry Goodkind is not.
That is very true, and we're only saying that because we literally just talked about Terry Goodkind's book. We recorded out of order, and yeah, so Terry Brooks.
And really,
if
you really are hoping for a good book, read a Terry Goodkind book first, and then read the book, whatever book you're reading, because then it'll be good. No matter what, it'll be good.
Oh my god! I hope we don't end up having like a bunch of Terry Goodkind fanboys coming to our podcast.
Terry Goodkind is going to sue us and then murder us.
Probably. He's the type of person. He's so, honestly, typical Republican. Please don't come at us Republicans either. That's a joke.
Yeah.
No, he's very...
Because both of us are neither Democrats or Republicans.
Yeah, honestly.
Just keep that in mind.
Well, I don't want to
I could talk trash about either.
F them both, but at the same time, that's kind of how I feel. But, like, if I say that, right, everyone's going to come at us.
Well, we'll have no fans because 50% of the people that read are Republicans and 50% are Democrats, so we will effectively have no one left to listen to this.
Well, there's some independents out there. We'll have a few.
Okay, so yeah. So we'll never get big. I hope we're ready for that.
Yeah. But no, so Terry Brooks, definitely a better writer. I think my only issues were the bullet point descriptions of the characters.
Yeah.
That was really it where I was a little bit off put when I first started reading it. And it was describing the main character's grandfather. And it was just like, oh, I can't remember his height, but it said, oh, he's 6'3", and he's kind of chubby, and he's kind of like got that old grandpa chubbiness or whatever. And he's got like gray hair, and he's got blue eyes, and he's got, I don't even know if that's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know either, but yeah, he does fall into that where he'll kind of get into the, let me just describe this real fast he'll get into the tell not show instead of show not tell.
Yeah.
And it seems to be pretty much just for character descriptions though.
No, I didn't have much of a problem.
I haven't noticed it
elsewhere.
I haven't noticed if he I don't think he does that with scenery or anything else like that. I'm trying to think.
No, I mean if he does it, it's more subtle. But like with the
Yeah,
characters, it was a bullet point list of someone's physical descriptions. Like, oh, he's got a big nose, and he's got high cheekbones, and he has a lot of eyelashes, and and like his ears are big, and he's got like a strong jaw, and you're just kind of at that point going,
and his skin is made out of bark because he's actually a Sylvan.
yeah, and then it's just like describing like a creature that someone like your main character has seen for the first time, like that's fine to me. But like, because like you kind of want to know too, right? Like what do you mean a Sylvan?
Yeah, you got to know what the creatures look like. Although, Robert Jordan in The Wheel of Time always does it really well too, where he doesn't sit there and like describe the creature in one paragraph. It's like bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. That's what makes a good writer, or a great writer, I'd say. I think you can be a good writer even if you maybe suck at putting...
Yeah, because Terry Brooks is definitely a good writer.
Yeah.
And Terry Goodkind is definitely a mediocre writer.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think that was pretty much my only complaint, because it was really jarring for me, because I felt like he was doing so well to start, and like...
describing the town and stuff. He did do a really good job. And the park. I love his descriptions of the park. Those are really good.
Yeah, and then like a new character pops up and he's like, hang on, I need a paragraph describing them. And that makes it's jarring because it takes you out of the story. And I don't know about his other books because I haven't read them. But I don't know if
I've read most of them.
I don't know if he does
You know what? He does get better, I will say. I mean, he's written so many books at this point, and these ones are pretty early in his career, if I recall.
I can't remember. I mean, I'm reading the series chronologically, and I know when I looked it up on the internet, Terry Brooks recommends to not read it chronologically, but that's just kind of how I prefer to... Like, if I'm jumping into a new series, I prefer to read it chronologically.
Yeah, he doesn't write it in a direct timeline. It kind of jumps around. And also, like, some of the information... The reason he doesn't recommend starting it in chronological is because you might have a little bit of spoilers about some things if you read it in chronological order, because some things he's written well after some of the other books, but so he's thus described some things from previous books.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works better like series to series, the hopping around, but like the Witcher books, for example, which I told you I'm reading the last one, or starting the last one, and you watched the show, where like the timeline was kind of odd.
Oh yeah, it was way weird, but that show was good. I liked that show.
But that's how a
lot.
And again, this might be a cultural thing specifically, and I'll talk about that more on like my blog when I write about it, or if you ever read it when we do a podcast. But like that might be a cultural thing in terms of writing. But all of his books do this weird...
What culture is he from? Is he not?
No, the books are translated.
Oh, I Russian, didn't know that.
Like maybe Ukrainian. I feel like that's not right either.
Do you need me to? I could pull up a map, although it's not really relevant to the book we're reading. So maybe let's focus back in on
the hopping around is what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay, Running with Demons Running with the Demon. Sorry, I don't know.
I always say Running with Demons too. I don't know.
I feel like that is a thing. What is that from? That has to be from something.
Maybe, but Running with the Demon, that's the name of this book. Chronologically, it's the first in the Shannara, or more like, I guess like a prequel to the Shannara books. Maybe is better.
See, I'm not sure anymore because I've read some of his later... I've read some of his later Word in the Void stuff. And it feels to me like sometimes it feels like the apocalypse happened in Shannara. Like sometimes Shannara feels like it's in the past, and sometimes Shannara feels like it's in the future. Like the main Shannara books. So even though I've looked at the chronological order, it's still like reading through some of his other Word in the Void stuff outside of the main Word in the Void the first Word of the Void trilogy. Mm-hmm. It just seems like some of that stuff is a lead up to the original Shannara books, where others of it seems. So that's what kind of confuses me, is the timeline. But the nice thing is all of his trilogies can be read as a separate thing, and it's really easy to do that because he jumps generations.
Yeah.
Even though the timeline can be a little bit confusing, and some of the stuff written in books that are supposed to be set in the past or books that are supposed to be set in the future can be kind of conflicting, overall I'd say like it's not a big deal because you can very easily treat it as a separate thing just in the same universe.
Well, and not to talk too much about Terry Goodkind, but that's exactly what Terry Goodkind should have done at the end of the 14-book series, original series, 12-book original series, whatever it was. But instead, he just went and continued with the same characters when, like, their story was clearly done. He should have gone, like, even just a generation away, you know? But that is something that Terry Brooks, I feel like, does really well, which is to just be like, yeah, I love this world and I want to stay in it, but I'm also going to not just, like, drag the same character just through a bunch of shit and whatnot. It's like, I'm going to go to new characters 30 generations down the line or whatever and just write a story about them. And it works.
Yeah, and then it's also really nice because technology and the cultures actually change and grow too. So I think that's what's really nice, because a lot, like Terry Goodkind is a stagnant world. Mm-hmm. No new technology comes out, no new forms of magic, no new anything. It's all just, it's old stuff from the past coming to the present. And so the cultures and the characters and the society in general just doesn't feel like it's changing, despite the fact that if you are trapped in a barrier, basically the countries are in giant cages by magic barriers.
Yeah.
If that barrier suddenly goes down, cultures would change, because like a direct result of the Imperial Order coming up through the Old World and attacking the Midlands, that would change the cultures of the Midlands forever.
Well, yes, but
naturalistic
also,
setting,
Terry Goodkind never
that would
goes
change.
very far away from, like, he just immediately continues. He hasn't even given his world time to evolve. He's just gone like, oh, like, I know that I ended this shit perfectly, but, like, let me just regress every character and throw them into a new scenario. And it's like, okay, you haven't moved on.
I mean, I get that not a lot of time has passed, but if you have to treat your cultures like you treat your characters. So the cultures, the different cities in the Midlands. Yeah, well, that's his biggest flaw, and his cultures don't change. The Mud People get direct influence from other cultures. So many cities in the Midlands get influence from different cultures coming up from the Old World. You have the Westlands with the barrier down, getting magic for the first time in years, you know?
Yeah.
And none of that changes their cultures. So the cultures don't grow with the influence of incoming stimuli, which they would in a realistic world. Things would be different. They would have to change policies. They'd have to change, and they don't.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But also, well, I don't want to talk so much about Terry.
And that's why I like Terry Brooks so much, though, is because his cultures change. Like the elven culture changes with the times. The human culture changes with the times. All of the cultures, all the different, even the different cities, they change throughout his like overarching series in a way that seems very believable as to what would, like, the changes that would actually be made,
right,
for, like, the things that are happening in the world.
No, yeah, and
which is nice.
I'm glad that this podcast is kind of forcing me to read all the Terry Brooks. Well, forcing me is not maybe the right word, but, like, they've always been on, like, my list of to reads. And I just
They're convincing you to read it.
Yeah, and I just kind of never gotten around to it. Like, I read, obviously, I almost said Running with Demons. Running with the Demon and this Word in the Void trilogy before, but it was so long ago I couldn't remember anything, so I had to reread it. But yeah, I've always been looking for it because you talk it up a lot, and I know that Terry Brooks is a very popular fantasy writer.
Yeah, his biggest flaw is letting MTV do his TV show.
Yeah. I mean, it was better than Legend of the Seeker, though, so.
Well, Terry Goodkind in every way setting the bar as low as humanly possible.
But, and I didn't, well, again, it's probably because I think I read those books that the trilogy that the show is based off, but again, so long ago that I couldn't remember it when I actually watched the MTV show on it. So I think for me,
I've read them a couple times.
Like, it's probably better for me than you.
Yeah, I will say I could not finish the second season of that Shannara show. It was just too painful. I did finish the first season, and I was like, they're kind of... I mean, there's obviously differences. But back to the book that we're actually trying to talk about.
Running with the Demon. And we were supposed to be doing a general review, and now we've tangented for 20 minutes almost.
Let's not talk about it. Running with the Demon, really good book. It's just interesting all around. You know, I find all the characters done really well. I find the magic done really well. Just I enjoy every aspect of it, I think.
Yeah, the little twists are good.
I just realized we didn't rate. Whatever.
Never mind.
I'll talk to you about it later.
I'll do an insert into it somewhere.
Running with the Demon, I would give a what? Are we doing it out of 5 stars?
Yeah,
these
out
days?
of 5.
I don't know.
I would say 4.3 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
hang on, I gotta pause.
Okay.
Can I pause real fast? You still there?
Yeah.
Sorry. Dakota just woke up from his nap and decided to come in and say hi. And yeah, so let's make this quick.
Quick. Okay.
Quicker.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go with it. He's going to be watching some TV for a little bit, so.
All right.
Well, because he's still in his, groggy stage.
Yeah, so 4.3, mostly good.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, mostly I really enjoyed it. Besides the bullet point descriptions of characters. And he doesn't do it every time, just on a few of the characters he bullet points it. But everything else I really like about it, yeah, I mean, I really don't have a lot to say as far as a non-spoiler thing.
Yeah, should we just get into spoilers then?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about it. Oh, the Native American character, I think, has done really well as well. Oh. I really enjoyed his take on Native America. And, sorry, the wine is getting to me already.
Yes, the Native American character, for our listeners, we are Native American, and so we tend to maybe be a little bit picky when Native Americans show up in books and
movies. Because it's usually not done good. I mean, well, it's usually done very stereotypical. I really enjoyed how human this character felt, but also I don't know. He's just done really well. I could really relate to the character.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say spoilers now.
All right.
So
let's get right into it.
Well, the Native American thing is, oh God, how do you say Oolish Amane?
Don't ask me. It's not a language I speak.
No. He is...
I am curious as to if that's... Do you think that's a real Native American name?
I mean, it could be.
I haven't even seen to see if the tribe he mentioned is a real tribe or not.
Well, you can Google that while I talk about my feelings about the Native American character for a bit.
All right, I will.
Oolish Amane is how I believe you pronounce his name. He is the last of his tribe, and it's something that I know that our tribe has grown quite a bit since the time we were almost wiped out, and we had at some point only 362 members alive, and now we're at like 3,000 or something. So like, you know, obviously our tribe has not died in the way that this character's tribe has died, since he is the last of his people. But in a way, like, I guess I kind of relate, because our culture is dying, and that in essence makes us not our tribe anymore, right? Like, we don't have very many songs or stories, or our language is dead, and that once all of that stuff is gone, we're gone, basically, right? So like, I kind of related, it's just a different type of, I guess, death.
Yeah, that you said it really well. And as far as an update, so the Sinisippi tribe are the owners of are the makers of the Sinisippi Mounds, located in Sterling, Illinois, United States. And they are a part of the Havana Hopewell culture, which is interesting because Hopewell is the name of the city he invented for the story.
Okay, yeah.
So...
See, this is the type of stuff that I like from writers, that I feel like, again, I don't want to talk too much about Terry Goodkind, but that I feel like Terry Goodkind doesn't really do. But like, oh, I like that kind of, let's use a real thing, because for us, like, we're curious enough to actually look up and find out about this tribe. Is it real? Okay, who are they? Are they still around? That type of thing. And I like it when they take that real world thing, like the mounds and because the mounds are in this book too, when they dance with the spirits.
Yeah, that's so yeah, he based it off of this place.
Okay.
In Sterling, Illinois, and Illinois. Gosh, dang, I need to just cut back on this wine.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess this whole Mississippi area is covered with these kind of burial mounds, and this tribe is one of the tribes that actually did the burial mounds, and which is funny because Sterling was the name of the explorer that discovered the mounds. So it's kind of ironic that the area that these mounds are located is now named after a white person. So I'm going to say that Terry Brooks, he probably made the name Hopewell, Illinois, is probably Sterling, Illinois. And he just gave it back its original, like the original people's translated name.
Maybe,
which is
I guess
Hopewell.
that would be my next question, or, well, it'll probably require a little bit more research, is if the Sinisippi are a real tribe, is that what they call themselves, or is that like our tribe where we were called the Juanino by our invaders and our enslavers, and I hate it when we're called that. So
from what I'm reading, the Sinisippi were the tribe. They are now called Hopewell.
Okay.
And they are a couple different. They're actually a few different tribes. It's a whole tribal area, kind of like how our tribe is cousins to the Luiseno. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same situation happening over there. But so really the only thing that uses Sinisippi is the actual park where these mounds are located now.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. That's fun facts of the day, I guess. To the book, besides us going off tangents about Native Americanness. Oh, let's see. It starts with Nest getting woken up by her Sylvan friend, Pick. Yeah. He wakes her up because the Bennett... Oh, what is her last name? Bennett...
Oh, wait, I got it. I don't got it.
Scott. Bennett Scott.
Scott, yeah. Okay. I was like, I thought I had it written down, but then I didn't, and I was like, I want to say Scott, and then you said Scott.
I knew I wrote it down, but I couldn't find it. Bennett Scott ran away from home because her mother is an abusive asshole. Or, no, sorry. Her mother's boyfriend is an abusive asshole. Sorry, not the mother.
Yeah, it's the mother's boyfriend, whose name is Danny, right? Is that Danny Abbott?
No, that's the bully.
Oh, right. Is it Derry Howe?
No, that's the other dude who...
Oh, that's the guy that's trying to blow up.
I want to say it's George.
Or set the...
George something. Whatever. The boyfriend's name is not important. She's running away from...
Is it Daniel? No, Daniel's the owl. Yeah. Okay.
Bennett Scott runs away from home because the abusive boyfriend.
The abusive boyfriend. She runs she runs to the park that is Nest's guardianship territory.
It's
because
the place she protects, yeah.
Yeah, because Nest, so basically Nest inherited some magic from her mom.
Well, her mother,
and her dad.
her maternal line.
Her maternal mom. She lives with her grandparents, so. Her mom committed suicide.
Yeah, on the cliffs in the park. Well,
yes, that everyone.
They say she committed
it's
suicide,
basically,
but there's all, like, throughout the whole book, it's like, did she, or was it the feeders, or the demon?
Yeah, it's probably the feeders because they've, so basically what happens is a demon comes into town. I don't think they ever name him.
No,
but,
they do not.
Not in this book anyway. But this demon comes into town and him and Nest's grandma hit it off and run together. And it implies like the start of a romantic relationship. And then I don't remember what happens, but the grandma ends up not getting together with the demon.
The grandmother initially did not know that he was a demon because he was wearing human skin. And when she found out, I don't know, I feel like it didn't describe this part well necessarily about how exactly she got the demon to piss off. But basically it seems like she kind of just threatened him. And then he left.
Yeah, something like that. And then he left. And then the grandma got married to the grandpa and had a daughter. And then the demon came back and
seduced the daughter.
Seduced the daughter, which was Nest's mom, impregnated her, and then took off again. And then she gave birth to Nest. And then later she finds out that it was a demon this whole time that had seduced her.
Well, the demon came back again to tell Nest's mother, Caitlin, and the grandmother, Evelyn, that it was him and that Nest was his. And that is the point where the mother
succumbs to the feeders, basically.
Jumps off the cliff.
It's implied that I think it's heavily implied that it caused such emotional trauma with the daughter, with Nest's mom, that she succumbed to the influence of the feeders, thus leading her to jumping off the cliffs. Because the feeders kind of, it's found out at the very end, right? Most of it?
Yeah, very towards the end. Like, it's kind of a running theme with Nest of, like, everyone just not telling her what's going on, right? John Ross, the Knight of the World, comes to town and he knows a lot more than he's saying, and she basically knows it, right? She's like, he's lying, and she goes to her grandmother and
can I just make a point that Terry Brooks did a really good job doing the story of a young girl?
Oh yes,
not who doesn't know what's going on, but he did the story really well. When compare that to our review on Stormglass, where the reader and the girl are confused the entire journey, and even at the end, there's none of the loose ends are closed, really. Where Terry Brooks in this book did a really good job in tying up the loose ends, so it is a complete story, even though it's one book part of a series.
Yeah. But most of this is not found out until very close to the end of the book. Nest doesn't know that her father's a demon until
the very end, right?
Yeah, it's the last couple chapters, when John Ross tells her and she runs off or whatever. But so basically though, it starts with her basically teaching us what the feeders are through Bennett Scott running away and what Nest's role is in the park as being a protector and protecting people, and introducing her magic too, where she can kill the feeders or maybe like disintegrate them by locking eyes with them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's technically killing. It's hard to tell because they're not, living creatures. They're just kind of like spiritual creatures.
And it explains later when she uses her power to knock Danny Abbott down when he's threatening her and her friends, that she basically felt almost like physically ill when she uses it on a person, but she doesn't feel any negative effect when she uses her powers on the feeders.
It's probably because humans have both good and evil, so she's feeling the negative effects from using her power against something that's good, quote unquote, the word.
Yeah.
Side.
So they never find, like, Bennett Scott's cat never shows up, even though I will say that's one loose end. I
forgot about the cat, honestly.
Well, I just remembered it because Ness is taking Bennett Scott home, carrying her home or whatever, and one of the things that Bennett Scott wanted to convince her to not jump off the cliff was to have her cat found because the abusive boyfriend did something to it.
Is it implied that he killed the cat?
I'm not sure. It's implied the cat's either dead or like he took it to like a different town's pound or something. I don't know. It's not. It's a.
That seems like a lot of.
Like a very minor.
I can't see. I don't see someone just going and dropping the cat off going all the way to another town to drop a cat off. I feel like
he probably. But it's never explained.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's enough I think there's enough evidence to say that he probably killed it.
But yeah, so Bennett's taken home.
I do appreciate that how and Bennett will be fostered by the Nest family
at the end yes.
of the book, right? Yeah,
I think that's
kind of nice because the abuse really just that it's good that she got out.
Yeah, I mean,
even if it's through the foster system, which is jacked
I
up,
feel like maybe that's
story.
only one of my other little complaints about the books is that Bennett Scott and like some of the other like her friends and stuff, like I know it's all from Nest's point of view pretty much. There's a couple like and John Ross and the Demon that has a few chapters, but mostly Nest. But I feel like we don't get to really meet or have any of the other characters fleshed out in any way, like her friends and
I always felt that her human friends were just kind of more on the acquaintance level of friend, not really like, because if you think about it, like she has magic, she's different than pretty much everyone, so she probably alienates herself a little bit. So her friends are probably more like friends by acquaintanceship. They're not really like close friends. Like Pick, I feel like is her only real friend.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean that's really my only thing is like they're there and they help the plot along, but I don't know really what else their purpose is. Other than
I mean, you can be friends with people and not be close with them.
Yeah, I just
it's like equivalent of like work friends. They're just her school friends. Like she goes to school with them. They're her friends, her classmates.
This book does also only take place over the course of like 4 days, so
a summer. Oh yeah, it is only 4 days.
July 1st,
and even
2nd,
in that
3rd,
4 days, there's more character growth.
Yeah.
There's more character growth in this book than Terry Goodkind.
Bro, we gotta stop talking about Terry Goodkind. That's just gonna always be our example of like a shitty book. It's like if something bad, or like we're trying to compare it to something. It's like they didn't do what Terry Goodkind does, and therefore it's good.
It's just gonna be our ongoing joke. Let's see how long we can get this. Let's see how long we can blame Terry Goodkind.
That's fine.
For all the...
But yeah, and then we find out at some point that the demon has come to town, and basically his powers are similar to the feeders. Like he can influence people's like thoughts and feelings,
it's like a stronger version of the
Yeah.
feeders. He can just like push his influence on people's minds.
And he can
He convinces
Derry.
He convinces who?
Derry Howe. Or
Oh, right. Derry. I thought you said Jerry.
Oh, no.
I was like, I didn't think there was anyone named Jerry. Yeah, he convinces Derry Howe to go put explosives in the fireworks or at the fireworks show.
At the 4th of July fireworks show, and his friend Junior to go blow up part of the MidCon, the mill.
Yeah, they're basically wanting to sue the mill for the problem. Is basically what I'm getting. It's basically what the demon convinced.
Yeah, they're trying to get
to do
the
so they can
strike to be to end the strike and to end the strike in the union's favor by making MidCon look bad. I guess obviously like the logic there is just stupid, and like the demon.
I mean, it'd probably work though. From what I know of unions and...
Well, but like the idea that they wouldn't discover that bombs were planted.
Yeah, that's a good point, because explosives leave residues, and something like that would be
shrapnel,
totally investigated in.
Like, you can look at the way it exploded.
Yeah, that would...
And in this current time, like, it's not like it was... It's not like this book takes place in, you know, like the 1800s or something where maybe like bombs aren't...
It takes place in 1997.
Like we have the capabilities during this time to figure out if it was a bomb or not. But yeah, so honestly, the whole thing...
That's
and
true.
of course, the demon doesn't care about the strike. He's just using them to get the grandfather killed or out of the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the demon convinces them.
Did we mention Daniel?
Oh yeah,
we haven't
Daniel the
mentioned
owl.
Daniel the owl.
Pick rides around on him.
Let's not forget him. Yeah. It's his loyal steed.
Yeah, and Daniel seems cool. He's not in it a whole lot other than to be like that he and Pick are like best friends and they patrol the park together. Yeah. And then get Nest when Nest is needed. That's pretty much their thing.
Yeah, and they rescue Nest from the cave, don't they?
No,
when she's
the
tied
grandfather
up.
does.
I thought it was the grandfather and Pick.
No, the grandfather.
I swear Pick was there. Or was Pick on Nest, hanging out with Nest? I don't know.
Pick shows up. I think shortly after.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, Pick gets captured by the demon, doesn't he?
Yeah, Pick gets captured.
So he's not in the picture.
So the demon's going around town kind of wreaking havoc and convincing people to be stupid. Nest at some point, she uses her magic on Danny Abbott and then like feels bad or whatever. And then makes everyone suspicious of her because obviously she didn't touch the bully and...
Yeah, she just blasted him with her magic.
Yeah. And then shortly after that, like, she's running off because she just used her magic on a person and she feels bad. And also, she wants...
We haven't mentioned Wraith at all.
Yeah, well...
Her wolf spirit.
He kind of just pops up randomly. And he's important to the end, but he protects her.
I feel like he's mostly a plot device, though. I will say, Wraith is the convenient plot device to get Nest out of a situation that she can't get herself out of. Kind of Terry Brooks's version of the Hand of God. It's Wraith.
Yeah, but it works a bit better than other people's Hands of God.
Well, yeah, he's written the Hand of God in a way that makes it a lot better than other writers. So,
but yeah, Wraith shows up really kind of only a few times throughout the book, and then at the end he's of course very important.
Yeah, because she...
yeah.
Well, really,
we can get to that.
Wraith should be... Yeah, we'll get to Wraith more.
And at some point, Pick, after Nest uses her magic on Danny, Pick shows up and is like, this tree that holds I don't even want to try to say it.
Here, I'll try the word. Here we go. The tree, it's a great oak tree, and it's a prison for the beast Maintrog. Maintrog?
I don't know.
Mantwrog.
Yeah.
So you pronounce it how you will. I'm gonna go with Maintrog.
I don't even know. I'm gonna attempt to not say it ever again.
Regardless, Nest uses her magic to put a band-aid on the tree, basically.
Well, yeah, her and Pick and her friends help a little bit, and they basically get human, like, tree repair things, which I didn't know existed, but, like, basically it's shit to try and protect the tree.
Not...
Yeah.
Well, those are usually preventative measures, those things that wrap around the trees.
Well, they use, like
they're
some of it was, like, a pitch. I don't know. She got, like, 3, and she, like, put a bunch of salt around the tree.
Oh, right.
It doesn't personally.
Well,
the
salt around the tree is a nod to a certain religion, that I'm sure everyone's familiar with.
And Pick.
He's just using that religion to and kind of taking the pieces of it to say this is the real reason why you do that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of.
And Pick.
In his world, this is the
That's
reason.
pretty much what Pick is doing almost the entire book, is trying to prevent this monster from getting out of the tree. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we have John Ross, who also comes to town.
I forgot about him. Yeah. I mean, I forgot that we haven't mentioned him yet.
Yeah, I mean, I briefly said his name.
Yeah.
He's a Knight of the Word.
Yeah, John. Yeah, he was recruited by the lady, who's like the Word's head honcho, I guess. Like the commander of the Word.
Or she's supposed to be the Word, I think. I'm not
don't
entirely
know if she's
sure.
The way she speaks makes me think that she is like one of the generals,
like
of
an
the Word,
envoy or
not
something.
The Word. Yeah, an envoy. That's perfect.
But yeah, so he's there, and he's.
Don't forget that Owalish. Oh
yeah.
How are we saying that guy's name?
Well, I believe the apostrophe, like in our own language, for example, kind of denotes how you would say that kind of pause. So I would say it's probably something like that. Olish.
Olish.
Something like that.
Olish.
That would be my guess, but
Obi.
Again, not my language, so.
Sorry, Obi's hitting all my chords, so I'm sure there's going to be lots of echoiness. You're just going to have to mute my mic for.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, Ross is there. Olish shows up very mysteriously.
And gives him the staff, which cripples his leg, which makes him dependent on the staff, and thus dependent on the Word for
safety and protection.
It's kind of dark. Yeah. That's kind of dark. Kind of messed up.
But yeah.
Basically, it's like a blackmail system for the Word.
And Olish
And the Word is supposed to be good.
Well, I mean, look at God in any religion. Can you really say that they're 100% good?
Well, I guess that's a good point. But, maybe blackmail is a good thing in this religion.
Yeah, maybe we've got it all wrong and everyone should be blackmailing everyone.
Well, culturally, we've evolved past blackmail, but religiously, it was a good thing.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, so...
I'm not...
John Ross.
This religion is weird.
John Ross is... he's the descendant of some other... I'm sure that, honestly, he might be a real person. Or, like, real historical figure.
I mean, he has 2 first names, so odds are he exists in real life.
The ancestor, Dwayne Glendwer, or whatever.
How do you spell that last one? I'll look it up real fast.
Glndw with some sort of accent R.
Wait, GR...
GLND, like dog, WR. Dwayne.
GLN.
Oh my.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Owain? Was it Owen?
Oh, yeah.
Owen? What was the first name?
Owen. I thought that was a D on my handwriting, but that's definitely an O. Owain.
Owen Glendwer. Yeah. Or Glendower. It's a Welsh word. Yep. He was a leader who instigated a fierce and long-running yet ultimately unsuccessful war of independence with the aim of ending English rule in Wales.
Okay, yeah. So,
In the
like
Middle
I said,
Ages.
Terry Goodkind, this is the stuff I like about him. Real thing.
He was the last native Welshman to hold the title of Prince of Wales.
Huh. Right, so
There's your fun fact for the
So
episode.
John Ross is a descendant of Owain Glyndwr, and this guy served the word for many, many years or whatever. And
Ooh, who knew that Terry Goodkind was anti-English rule?
you mean Terry Brooks?
Oh, frick.
This is what happens. The names are too
See,
similar.
I kept it. I am tipsy, and I still kept it from being explicit. So you're welcome.
But yeah, so, and that's how he ends up at the place where that envoy or whatever is and gets convinced to serve her. And then Ola shows up like a while later when he's back in America and is like, take this effing staff. And then John Ross gets crippled. And John Ross's thing is like the staff has magic in the present, but when he uses it in the present, when he dreams,
Then he can't use it in the future, which is his dreams.
yeah, then
Because he dreams in the future.
and that's how he even
So,
knew to
which
show
is-
up in Hopewell in the first place. Was his future dreams.
Which seems like a flaw in the system, in the magic system. I mean, in the words rules of magic. Like, we're going to give you the staff that's magical, but you cannot use it.
Well, it's not that you can't use it, because like in his future dreams, he's not crippled, and he uses it constantly.
Yeah, but if he uses it in the dream, then he has a recharge time in real life, and if he uses it in real life, then he has a recharge time, which is the dream.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all weird. But yeah, so through his dreams, he finds out that the demon is really Nest's father, and he's been hunting this demon for a very long time. And also...
So he decides to go to the town.
Yeah. And that's pretty much Ross's whole thing.
Oh, and then, so, yeah, and doesn't Ross show up for dinner at the Nest's house with the grandparents?
Yeah, he pretends, he gets in with the family by pretending that he knew Caitlin, Nest's mother.
Yes, that's what it was.
Evelyn, the grandmother, is like, what a load of shit. Evelyn actually thinks that she's working with the demon, but later finds out that she was wrong. But, like, initially she thought that he was lying, which he was, but she was just wrong about why he was lying.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, trying to...
Don't they go to church then?
Yeah, they go
Don't
to...
Sneak get invited to church.
Everyone goes
and
to
it's covered in
church.
feeders.
The demon is at the church, and then Ross shows up at the church, and then all the effing feeders show up at the church, and then Wraith shows up because Ness is panicking, and
then Wraith scares all the feeders away.
and Ness...
And then the demon kills that guy at church.
It was a woman, but yes, he kills some random unlucky churchgoer who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, just to prove to Ness that
It's rough.
he could. And Ross is, I don't know, like, he's useless throughout, like, the majority of this book, honestly.
I know, I don't get it, because, well, if you continue reading the Word in the Void series, the staff becomes incredibly powerful. It is incredibly powerful, the things that the staff can do. You should see it as it evolves through the generations. The staff is clearly, it's a powerful device, and it seems weird that he has so little power. You know what? I just realized in the later Word and Void series, the staff doesn't have the same limitations that it does in these books, so I wonder if that's an evolution, because the thing about Terry Brooks's world is magic evolves along through the generations as well as people. So from humans, it splits off into elves and dwarves and gnomes and orcs. Wait, what is it? What am I forgetting?
I don't know. Reavers?
No, it's like, what? giants?
I don't know.
Whatever. But like it's so the humanity evolves into separate species, and magic also evolves. You get like if you think about the Elfstones of Shannara, you have a magic evolving, and it turns into it like transforms into the Wish Song through the humans. So like you have magic evolving as the story goes, and so it's really interesting. The staff loses some of its limitations in later Word and Void series, where they can just use it. You don't have to worry about dreaming of the future anymore. Like once they stop dreaming of the future and having to use the staff in the future, then the limitations, and they can just use the staff however. It's just a token of power. It's just a conduit of energy. So it's just interesting that I appreciate that he evolves his magic along as well as evolving his world and characters.
Yeah, I
Side
mean,
note.
well, when I get further along.
Yeah. Yeah, you should you should definitely continue with the series.
Well, yeah, I plan to finish this one.
Anyway, back to the story.
Kills a church person.
So
Ross is there but being useless.
does the church situation happen before the dance with the spirits?
Yeah, no, I believe the dance with the spirits happens afterwards, because at this point Nest knows that her grandmother was running with the feeders and with the demon when she was younger.
Yeah.
I believe that happens.
Yeah, because that happens. She gets that vision during the dance,
Yeah.
which is actually before the church.
Mm-hmm.
It is before the church.
It happens pretty soon
So
in the book. Like, I want to say on the second day of the book.
Yeah, so she has that and she has the vision of her grandma. Basically, her story prior to meeting the demon.
Yeah, and she confronts the grandmother and gets the truth.
Yeah, and the whole church situation happens. Yeah.
And then the school dance is happening after.
And while the school dance is happening, John is on a date with that girl he likes, Josie.
Yeah, and
then the demon makes the townspeople attack.
no, that's later.
And at the dance,
I don't know what he's.
I thought this was happening.
No, this happens.
I thought this was This was happening at the same time that Nest. So Nest is at the dance, where Danny Abbott
Kidnaps her and ties her up and puts her in the cage.
Kidnaps. Yeah, and then at the same time that is happening, John is being attacked.
No, John.
By the townspeople on his date. On his date. He's on a date. The townspeople attack.
Oh, hang on, let me read my notes.
Because they're busy.
Oh no, yeah, you are right. Yeah.
While Nest and John are busy, the demon confronts the grandma, Nest's grandma.
Yeah, because he gets the grandfather
and kills her.
to run to go rescue Nest and her friends. And then Evelyn is alone. And yes, demon goes.
And then the demon goes and kills Evelyn, the grandmother.
Well, and he's surprised when she doesn't have any magic, because that's important later.
Yeah. Yeah, because little do we know, she has used all of her magic to change Wraith. Because Wraith is from the demon. Yeah. Wraith is a gift from the demon to protect Nest until he's ready to come and get her.
I actually have a theory that she didn't use it all in that point. I think she used the last bit of it when she threatened the abusive boyfriend and was like, if you lay a hand on your kids, I will know and I will come after you. And when he beats Jared Scott into a coma and he runs out of the house and the feeders are taunting him, but he also keeps seeing Evelyn taunting him and yelling at him. And I think that she had a little bit of magic left. And
she used it on that guy.
And she used it on that guy, and it scared him into a fatal accident where he tripped onto a spiky fence or something.
Oh, that's a good theory. Because I had I've reread this book probably. I've read this book like 3 times now, I think.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times. And, I always just assumed that it was by the wiki, because I've read the wiki and it said that she used all of her magic on Wraith to change his nature. But I do like your theory about that, because I had never caught that before.
Yeah, because
I assumed that was just I don't know, like a spell that had lingered from time before, but I do like your theory better.
Earlier in the book, Nest had made a point to talk to her grandmother about the state that Jared Scott and his siblings were living in and the abusive boyfriend, and asked her grandmother to do something about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Evelyn was like,
gosh,
leave it to me, I'll deal with it. And then
she totally
and
does.
That's what I think happened.
I completely missed
that. She
uses the last of her power for that. That was what a badass grandma.
Yeah.
Dang it! I just made us explicit. Cut that. Just bleep the ass.
No, I'm leaving it.
We'll record a howl because we're Heart of the Wolf. And
I don't think it matters with the podcast.
And we'll just put a howl wherever we curse, because clearly, now that I am half a bottle of wine into this, and I've already had a beer too, I'm feeling quite good.
But yeah, so that's my theory about the grandma. But anyway, she knows she's gonna die, and she knows, and she leaves a note.
Yeah,
for Nest before the demon kills her.
Yeah, she left the note for Nest. Basically,
use your magic and trust Wraith.
Explained it all.
That's what it said.
Yeah. And so, so Grandma leaves the message for Nest.
Yeah.
The guy she has a crush on, Jared.
Beaten into a coma.
Who's Bennett's
older brother.
Gets beat by the mom's boyfriend into a coma. Yeah. And while that's happening, Pick gets captured by the demon.
And the demon kills Daniel.
The demon kills Daniel?
Yeah.
How did I miss that? I totally forgot about that part.
It's very brief. Yeah. But, and it doesn't very, explicitly say Daniel's dead, but it's very much implied that Daniel's dead.
That's so sad. Why would you kill an owl?
Yeah.
You're an evil person. Kill people, leave animals alone. They have a hard enough life.
Yeah, this is all now on the 4th of July, which is when the
fireworks are going to go
Derry and
off.
Junior are trying to blow shit up, basically.
Yeah, so Pick gets captured by the demon. Nest and John go to confront the demon. Yeah. The demon releases I'll say it one more time. This is the last time I'm ever going to say this word. Unless Terry Brooks puts it in a different book. Which he better not. The mange frog.
Yeah.
Nest's grandpa is meanwhile stopping
Derry.
Nest's grandpa goes and stops Derry from blowing up everyone at the 4th of July. John kills the mange frog.
I don't know, bro. You're drunk.
Whatever. I'm not drunk. I'm just tipsy. Thanks. But he takes out the mange frog, but he's incapacitated and knocked out in the corner. Nest is fighting the demon, and then Wraith shows up. And the demon's like, the Wraith is on my side because I gave it to you.
And that's kind of where the demon also is revealing about the grandmother and seducing Nest's mother as revenge and basically doing villain monologue.
Yeah, this is where you learn everything. And then you're like, oh, surprise, bitch.
Yeah.
The grandma gave up all of her magic to convert your Wraith into a force for good.
Yeah, Nest.
And Wraith kills the demon.
Nest, and it's triggered by Nest using her magic against the demon. That was the trigger.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then
And then they foster Bennett.
Well,
Do they?
Ross also reveals at like after everything's done that he was there to be her possible next executioner if she had let the demon touch her. He doesn't outright say it, but like,
Wow.
but it is.
I totally forgot about that part. Yeah,
He's like, I see the.
Yeah,
future.
John was totally there to. Yeah, he was there to assassinate Nest if Nest got converted to the Void, basically.
Yeah, he basically had a twofold plan, or like it was like his backup plan. So like, obviously he wanted to stop the demon or kill Nest before she gets powerful.
Kill Nest. Yep. And then so then Nest and the grandfather foster Bennett. Nest goes and uses her magic to pull Jared out of the coma that he was in.
That's pretty much it.
And then John leaves,
and
and that's the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I did really enjoy it. There's just a few little things, like I said that.
No, yeah, I thought this is a really good book. I really like the whole trilogy. Actually, you should read this. It's written well. Terry Brooks does a good job.
It's on my list of
the
next book to read.
Yeah, some of his books are a little, some of his earlier books are kind of hard to read, but then he gets in he starts to get in the habit of writing trilogies from one perspective. Like in the beginning, it's like every book is a leap in generation.
Yeah, I think.
And then as he evolves as a writer, it gives. Yeah, so you have the Sword of Shannara, the Elfstones of Shannara, and the Wish Songs of Shannara, which are all separate generations. They're all one generation.
Yeah, I
apart.
think that's the other series of his of the Shannara Chronicles that I read was the Running with Demons, and then those three.
And it's a good series. I do like the series, but I like it more now. I don't know if
I haven't read any of his newer stuff.
So yeah, his newer stuff is really, I really like it. I think he's done a lot better. I like the technology advances and the magical advances that he's made with the society because they've advanced kind of together. You'll see when you get there, there's like the airships and, when you get to, what is it? The Isle of, dang, I need to pull up his list.
I don't know. But
once he gets us to like the witch, Isle Witch of Shannara, I think is what it's called. I don't know, but they get really good. I really really like it. And then the whole Al-Anon and the voyage of Shirley, Shannara.
I don't know.
Charles. Don't ask me to pronounce these things. I don't know how to pronounce these things.
Does anyone?
But they're all. Terry Brooks,
Yeah, maybe.
Presumably. But yeah, they're all. He's a good example of a writer that is continuously getting better at writing.
Yeah.
Unlike Terry Goodkind.
Oh my god.
Who's progressively getting worse. I know. We said we're not going to talk about it.
It's the running joke now, but it is true. If you
I
know. The Omen Machine or Severed Soul or the Nikki Chronicles.
Oh gosh, I haven't even been able to finish whatever that Omen Machine series is. There's Omen Machine, Severed Souls.
No, I quit it. I quit after I believe the second one, and then I found out that oh god, we're talking about Terry Goodkind, and then I found out that they killed, he killed Zed.
Loved Nikki. You loved Nikki.
I did love Nikki.
So when the Nikki Chronicles came out, I knew you were going to read those because you were a huge Nikki fan.
Yeah, and
but Nikki, didn't you know that Nikki is now Kaylin 2.0?
Yes, Nikki is now Kaylin 2.0, and Nathan Rahl is Richard. So, yeah.
Richard 2.0.
Like they changed their personalities to whatever. But yeah, they're not good.
You know what? And we should have seen it coming too, because Nathan puts on the sword and then he starts saying, "I look dashing with the sword," and then he's basically grooming Nathan to become Richard 2.0.
I know, but like it was funny, like the dashing, like ooh, don't I just look dashing with the sword? Like all that stuff was like entertaining, and he wasn't particularly serious. Like he's serious in a way, but like at the same time, like
he was just grooming
Yeah.
Nathan slowly to become Richard 2.0.
Yeah, and then
Because he knows that if he can get a book deal, then he'll write however many books they say. And he'll just, if he needed someone to take on Richard's role because his Richard books were getting so many negative reviews.
well, honestly, it's surprising if you go look at like the Goodreads stuff, like honestly how positive the reviews are. Like there's of course like a lot of negative reviews, but like the overall star rating is not as low as it should be.
Well, see, but that's the thing. Like, if you are someone that writes, like me and you, we've both written a lot in our,
Yeah.
we've never published anything because we realized the errors in our own writing.
Yeah.
But anyone that's done any sort of writing has studied and looked into becoming a writer, you look into like all the things that are required and character growth and cultural and societal growth and the evolution of magic. Like you look into all these things when you're thinking about writing, and if they're you got to realize it's that if you're writing something and there's no growth, then what is the point in writing? Because you can't just leave it stagnant. So that's what he does, is he leaves it stagnant. Yeah. But if you're not a writer, if you're not looking into writing your own story, that's something you don't necessarily look for. But now that I've been attempting to write, and I've been reading a lot about like what makes good writing, I'm seeing more and more flaws in some of these authors that I've loved my entire life. But just because now I'm realizing that their characters don't grow, that their plots are very basic, and then now I'm seeing all the flaws that other writers have because I'm looking into writing myself. And who knows, Terry Goodkind really just needs to go back to why he originally started, because I feel like his first book was his best book.
Yeah.
The Sword of Truth. Wizard's First Rule. It was a good book. I mean, it wasn't a great book, don't get me wrong, but it was a good book. The character had growth.
Yeah.
And then as the series progresses, the characters just become stagnant. They stop growing.
And they regress so much. I mean...
And then they regress and grow back to where they were at the end of the first book.
But no, yeah.
Personality-wise, character-wise.
Ranting about Terry Goodkind aside...
Terry Brooks does a good job at growth.
Yes.
That was the point I was trying to make.
That very long tangent.
He does a really good job at growing his character, growing his world, growing his magic, growing his cultures.
I'm looking forward
sometimes
to the next Word in the Void book, which is Night of the Word, I believe is the next one.
It's good. It's good too. I love... all of his books just keep getting better. Like, he always is improving as an author, which is why I think I like him so much.
But yeah, as far as...
Just like Robert Jordan.
Well...
Always improving as an author.
Well...
His first trilogy, he wrote just to be able to get published. You know? Like, he had to write that story, that token story. That basic... story that everyone's heard of, just written a little bit differently. And then once he started getting deals, he's like, oh, I got a contract for 12 more books. 11 more books? Whatever, however many it was.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I already have the contract, so now I can write what I want to write. Now I can write the story that I want to write. And that's when it gets really good. Book 4, Book 5, Book 6.
I know, that's what's...
Really good books.
Is on my to... Well, I have it in my...
you do hit the slog.
I know. Just, you gotta stop mentioning the slog to me because it's gonna make me not want to read it.
I know. Everyone calls it the slog, okay. Robert Jordan hits a slog. It's... but I wouldn't say that his writing becomes bad. It just leans away from from like action adventure type and goes into more of a political realm. So it's very politics. It's heavy in, what is it, the Game of Houses.
Yeah. Bro, the Game of Thrones.
And
I
no,
know.
that's a different. Shut up. For those of you that don't know, Game of Thrones is based off of Robert Jordan's Game of Houses in his book the Wheel of Time series. And then it's funny because Robert Jordan was one of the authors that reviewed George R.R. Martin's first book, which got George R.R. Martin famous. And then George R.R. Martin's TV show is what got Robert Jordan's TV show sponsored. So that's the only reason they're making a Wheel of Time is because Game of Thrones did so well. So it's kind of like a full circle.
I mean,
Robert
Game
Jordan
of
got
Thrones did
George R.R. Martin famous
until the last season, and then
okay, yeah, we're all ignoring the last season.
the last few seasons.
Okay.
Honestly, 5 through 8.
The point is, it's a perfect circle where Robert Jordan got George R.R. Martin famous. George R.R. Martin is now getting Robert Jordan more famous.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he passed because I really want to read some of the books now that society is in a place where it's more LGBTQ2 friendly. Did I say that right?
No, I don't know what you said,
old.
but it's LGBTQ.
I'm drinking like a whole bottle of wine and a beer, and things are getting crazy.
Over there, I'm just drinking water. Bro, and it's like
you.
You've been drinking since like 2:00 in the afternoon. Then
It's my one day off a week that I get, so yes, I've been drinking.
But no, yeah. So,
but it's just a nice circle. That's the point I was making. Is it's a nice circle. If Robert Jordan was still alive, which he frickin' should have been, then his books, with the lack of restrictions on writing that they have now in the publishing world, he could have written. I can only imagine what a series after the Sword of Truth. After Wheel of Time series would have looked like. Gosh dang!
I bet it would have been freaking awesome. I mean,
we need to cut this episode.
I'm
because
cutting this last 20 minutes, bro. Don't even worry about it.
Wow. It's like nothing I'm saying is worth any value to you.
No, but it could be value to our Patreon.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, by the way, I meant to start a Discord for us.
Oh, yeah.
But I completely spaced it. So I will do that when we're done recording.
Okay, yeah. Let's finish this
episode. Did we want to do... I thought we were done.
Well,
honestly.
We didn't...
I thought we were in post-credits right now.
This is basically post-credits, but we forgot to do the credits in which we say, thanks for listening to Heart of the Wolf podcast. The next book that...
For a transcription of all of this podcast and all of our other podcasts, please visit heartofthewolffantasy.com. Our next book is the first Wheel of Time book, Eye of the World by Robert Jordan.
The next book is the one that we recorded before this, which was The Stone of Tears by Terry Goodkind, which is why we keep talking about Terry Goodkind.
Gosh dang. Yeah, okay. So join us next week.
No, that's it. That's what I'm putting.
Join us next week for Stone of Tear by Terry Goodkind. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Okay.
Please pay $1 a month for our Patreon.
If you want to listen to my drunk brother some more.
It'll just be my drunk kitchen, except it'll be my drunk book review.
All right, so are you ready to stop?
I don't know.